Yo, HNS family, happy second anniversary and happy Valentine's Day. I was inspired to start actually posting to the YouTube channel I made for my account because Stephen Mackey shared his stories of love and Handshake, and I was just feeling really inspired, especially with the news today. So I wanted to connect with you guys. And what I figured I would do is just kind of recap some tweets that I saw today and catch everybody up to speed that may not have seen about the Namecheap acquisition today. So, on February 14th, 2020, Namecheap announced its acquisition of Namebase. And it's crazy that this actually happened when it did, because back at the very end of December, if you look at the tweet here, Peepo HNS actually tweeted about this. I don't know what his sources were, but he, thought that maybe this would happen, and obviously had good reason to think that. And this is something that I just want to say I'm really grateful for to Peepo, because I went ham getting auctions like right after that, because I kind of felt in my gut that might be the case. And then, funny enough, I had posted on my Dynasty Domains account, Fate Loves Irony. What would be the most entertaining outcome for HNS in the next 2 months? And the only reply I got was hope to make it, saying an announcement of this Namecheap acquisition. And then today, on February 14th, 2022, on the second anniversary of auctions starting for HNS, Namebase and Namecheap announced this acquisition. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read this announcement out just so you could hear it if you're not actually looking at the screen. So Namebase said, huge announcement. Namebase HQ has been acquired by Namecheap. While Namebase will continue to be operating as an independent lean startup, it will also benefit from Namecheap's invaluable resources, which I totally agree with, and I will talk about in just a minute. So they say, while this news can be bittersweet, all of us at Namebase are ridiculously excited about Namecheap's all-in commitment to lead Handshake towards mass adoption. Their fit with HNS could not possibly be any more aligned. Namecheap not only comes with decades of deep experience in the DNS industry, but it was also the very first name register to ever accept BTC. And this was back in 2013, which, when you really think about where the space was at in 2013, is huge. And I think it's something that we should embrace as a community, knowing that they've been aligned with this vision that I think we all share for a very long time now. And man, for me, seeing consistency over time by people who say they want certain things is really what matters. It's not what they're saying in the moment, it's what their track record has looked like in the past. So just this fact alone makes me personally really optimistic about what this is going to look like. And Namebase goes on to say Namecheap was an OG in DNS, Namecheap was an OG in crypto, and now Namecheap is an OG in something that combines the best of both DNS and crypto, which is Handshake. And that is really beautifully said. And they just say the full transition may take a few months to settle down, but that's plenty of time to be excited for Handshake's very near future. And I'm sure I speak for a lot of the community when I say I'm just absolutely buzzing. I've been just trying to process what all this can mean. And the great thing is, Richard Kirkendall, who's the Namecheap CEO, actually posted about this on Twitter as well today, and he kind of opened the floor up for some questions. So I just wanted to highlight some of the better questions that I saw that kind of stuck out to me. So the first question is Unravel America asking, when can we get major browsers, i.e. Chrome and Firefox, to directly resolve the HNS TLDs? And Richard responds that some of the first dominoes have fallen, but ultimately more and more community adoption will force their hand. And by their hand, I think he means the legacy players like Chrome and Firefox. And he says he also believes the security and privacy benefits associated with Handshake will shine through to them. And I think this is something that's going to be embraced more and more by people as a whole who aren't necessarily into Handshake specifically, but who are seeing what the government is doing to people right now, and some of the trends that are happening that are very, very worrying for the security of the internet overall and our freedom to use the internet in the way that I would say, the way that I view at least, it was meant to be used. And Mark Smith came through with some really good comments and questions as well. Of course, he's super active in the community, and I was happy to see this brought up. So he tweeted, "Very exciting, congrats. Glad to see the emphasis on freedom and qualifier if done right," which I totally agree with that point. It is a huge, huge point to make. And he asks, where do non-custodial solutions fit in your plans and vision for Handshake? Will Namecheap or Namebase be contributing to this area, and if so, how? If not, what does done right look like and mean to you? And I was so happy to see Richard's answer here, and I'm sure most of the community will be as well. He says, non-custodial solutions should be central to everything. The less ability we have to make unilateral decisions on your assets, the better. We should be there for transactional purposes only, and the community as a whole should be the driver around the bigger decisions. So, overall, my own commentary is just that I agree wholly with this, and I'm so, so happy to see a response like this. There is a very marked difference in the consciousness and the goals of the people who are involved in this. I think just due to, the environment that these older legacy players were raised in like a very dog eat dog world, and with different programming, different exposures to different agendas and things, they see the world differently. But I am so, so happy that Richard and the whole of Namecheap see things this way, because this is a huge point, and in my opinion, one of the most important points to making this succeed long term and be a net good for society. And if you agree, feel free to leave your comments down below. If you think I'm missing something and disagree, please point it out as well. I'm just kind of making this video to put it out there and like start a conversation while informing people with what's going on here. So please, like, if you have any commentary on any of these questions that were answered, feel free to leave it down below, and we'll continue the conversation there. Another question was, what is the roadmap going to look like for 2022? And basically, Richard just says the first order of business is to allow all TLD holders full access to their search functions and customers, and make it easier to access registrar services, which is great to hear. I'm sure a lot of people are really excited about that. And they want to make SLDs fully decentralized and the transactions for those peer-to-peer, which is huge. That means you can sell single SLDs. If I'm understanding this properly, it sounds like you can sell, or will be able to sell in the near future, single SLDs forever, like one-time transaction, and it's theirs. It's done peer-to-peer, and Namebase, or Namecheap rather, whichever, I don't know how they're going to label this, but Namecheap will be just facilitating that and helping it happen, which is awesome. Now, somebody else had a request. tldking.eth requested seamless integration enabling SLD registrations across any HNS TLDs directly on Namecheap, and also adding a verified HNS collection under domain names in OpenSea. And, just like I covered in the last question, Richard confirms that both of these are on his agenda. So the SLD situation is going to have a resolution soon. And in my opinion, having an OpenSea page for this is going to be a game changer. I think we should have town halls as a community to help the ETH space kind of become more aware of this, because it is crazy to me just how big the price discrepancy is between ENS names and HNS names. Like, I don't want to come on here and shit on ENS, but like when you just objectively compare the utility and where things are going, I mean, I think Play.eth sold for like 32 ETH. Yeah, just the other day I saw Play.eth had sold for like 32 ETH, and at the same time, the play button or the game controller emoji and the play button emoji sold for like 2,000 HNS, which is like 0.18 ETH or something like that. It's just, I guess maybe I'm comparing apples to oranges, but in my mind, you guys, anyone who's watching this, please let me know what your perspective is. But to me, there is a huge discrepancy, and I think getting, especially like individual domain name hacks, like, oh gosh, there are so many. I can't even give a single example. Like, uh, gosh, yeah, I can't even think of an example off my head, but like the endless domain name hacks, you could just sell a single SLD on a domain hack TLD, and I could see those going on OpenSea for huge amounts, and rightfully so. You know, in this world that we're moving into, my view is that easily human readable names and hyperlinks are going to become more and more valuable as we start to use things like Siri more and like voice recognition more. Imagine how valuable it could be to just say, "Hey Siri, go to dynasty.domains." You know, it's so simple, it's so easy to work with, and I really think, looking on a long enough time horizon, that those domain acquisitions, especially with the permanence and the overall potential for total sovereignty that comes with HNS, is incredibly valuable. And it's going to be cool to see who gets, you know, who's able to get what domains in their hands and what projects are going to be built. And I guess what I'm getting at is, in my view, I think the OpenSea integration is going to be really big for price discovery and overall adoption. Now, another question that popped up is, Richard, what's the road ahead to make HNS mainstream? He says, in a nutshell, getting HNS in front of everyday users, as well as educating them on it and building more and more tools to make it useful. So I love that answer, and that was really all the questions that really caught my interest from that thread. But then afterwards, when I was looking at other community discussion on this, I saw Fernando Falchi. I apologize if I'm not saying that right, but he asked if there are any statistics about how many domains from Namecheap's customers are actually in Handshake's Alexa Top 100K claims list, and if there's any plan to onboard them. And Richard has not answered this question yet, but I really hope he does, because this is not something I had thought of. This is an incredible idea from both Fernando and Sulu. I think truly, like Sulu says here, offering all of their customers exposure to blockchain top level domains at no cost at all, and even giving them like free education on why it's important and why it's valuable and how they can leverage this moving into the future, it would be such a huge value add. Like, it's just win-win all around. Namecheap will end up with customers that actually absolutely love them for what they're doing, and it will make them stand out so much compared to other registrars. And just a note on this, when I was reading this, I mean, this is the first YouTube video I've put out there. I just felt called with everything that happened today to connect with the community and to give you guys a face behind the Twitter accounts that you might be interacting with. But I want to say this directly to Richard as well. I would love for you to answer this question, and I have to imagine that onboarding such a large group of people who could stand to benefit hugely from just claiming their free top level domain would have a huge positive impact for adoption. And I don't know if you would need this or if it would actually be helpful or where this could fit in, but I'm more than happy if you guys are looking for some sort of funnel to onboard people or explain to them why this is important or valuable. I'm happy to volunteer to try to make like quick Loom or explainer videos to help people become a part of this, because at this point in my life, there's nothing that excites me more than actually being able to contribute something that can significantly change the course of the world we're all moving into. It can get a little bit scary at times, and I really think we're on the right track. So I would be more than happy to help in any way that I can, and just understanding more about what these types of things look like on the back end would be cool as well. So Richard, you can DM me at any point in time, and if anybody else that is watching this has any ideas for like the type of content that I could make that would really help the community, please share any thoughts you have below or hit me up on Twitter or whatever. My Twitter is just, I have a couple Twitters. I'll just type them here. Just Dynasty Domains on Twitter. And then also Domain Degen. And I'll have to tell a story about why I have that handle another time. Dynasty Domains is really just for my portfolio collection, and it's something I've been building since 2019, actually, before Handshake. So it was cool how that came together. And then Domain Degen is just my personal account. If you want to scroll the timeline, you'll kind of just like get a better idea of what I'm about and what I'm hoping for in the future and the way I see things. And, you know, if we align, if it makes sense to connect, I would absolutely love to. So I have no idea what's going to come of this video, but I just wanted to put it out there. Wish you all a happy Valentine's Day, a happy anniversary for Handshake, and I'm looking forward to what's on the other side of this. I hope you guys are too. Peace.